Right now at noon, a fire continues to rage, tearing through this Squirrel Hill apartment building. We are taking a look at video, and beyond that thick black smoke, firefighters are still trying to get a handle on the flames that continue to gut this building on Forward Avenue in Squirrel Hill. In the almost 4 hours since that fire started, several sides and a portion of the roof of this 3-story brick building have collapsed. We have live team coverage now. Our Barry Pintar has been speaking with the people who are now watching their home burn up. Our John Chumway is tracking the traffic disruptions that this is all causing. But first, we want to get to our Ross Gadati. He is live just feet from where this is all happening. Ross, this went from a 2-alarm fire to a 4-alarm fire very quickly.
Oh, it sure did go quickly, Erica, as you just said before. We are in the Squirrel Hill section of Pittsburgh, and you are starting to see at least some improvement in the battle against this massive fire. But Chief Darrell Jones just told me 15 minutes ago, this is still an active scene, and it is not yet under control. Now, we believe, based on some of the things we've been told by various emergency officials, it may have started in a kitchen area in the 3rd floor, and then the fire began to creep along the roof of the 3rd floor, basically taking anything below it as well. There were, as you mentioned, a partial wall collapse and a roof collapse. Very dramatic moments sometime after the 9 o'clock hour, where apparatus in front of the building rendered several large horn blasts. That signal, if anybody was in the building, to get out as far as firefighters go. Several different structures in this particular situation, all with a common facade. I spoke to a person familiar with the building. He says there were 44 units of the building, but only 30, as we understand it, appear to be occupied. Dozens of residents escaped, rescued, and removed from the building by Pittsburgh firefighters. Now, what made this fire so incredibly difficult to fight is it was built in 1929. They didn't have fire codes, and they didn't have genuine effective firewalls. This is what Chief Jones had to say about that.
We are now holding at a 4th alarm. There are 73 firefighters on duty on the scene right now. No reported injuries. Red Cross and Salvation Army are taking care of the residents. There's no firewalls that we can detect. There was one, I apologize, there was one, but it was defeated. So it was going across from right to left as you face the building. The firewall was going from front to back in one section of one wing of the building,
thus rendering it completely ineffective. And the end result is what you see behind me. Chief Jones says this structure is an absolute loss. There's no word if any of the people who have been left homeless as a result of this will ever be able to get in to find out what is left of their particular items. Now, here's another thing we have to consider. Not only has it been structurally weakened by this incredible fire, thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons of water have been poured on it. So right now, it's unsafe from a structural standpoint, not only from the fire, but all that water seeping down. And to make matters worse, as if that was needed, it's believed that the firefighters at one point were battling an electrical fire in the basement. We're still trying to find out, but right now, as the chief said, this fire is still not under control, but they're starting to get a handle on it. In Squirrel Hill, Ross Gadati, we'll send it back to you.
Ross, just incredible in all the worst ways. We thank you for that. We'll check in again very soon. Now let's go to our Barry Pintar. Now, Barry, the 30-some people who called this building home, they are all accounted for. We heard that from Ross. They're okay, so that's some good news here. But by the looks of this large portion of this building is gone, and these people have been watching as their home has been burning up.
Yeah, Erica, can you imagine? Again, the good news, they all got out, but when they got out, this is what they saw. And I can tell you as recently as 5 minutes ago, I still saw live flames. One of the first things I want to do is let you know exactly where we are, because we've been showing an apartment building, but let me give you perspective. So right over here is the Parkway. I'm pretty much a half a block from the Parkway up here on Forward Avenue. And as we go up this way, that's Murray Avenue right up there. So if you're in the Squirrel Hill area at all, that'll give you an idea of where we are. All right, what are we facing in terms of these residents? Well, as you heard, we just heard from the chief a few moments ago. I specifically asked him this question, quote, from your experience and what you have seen today, will these residents ever be able to get back in to their homes? And he said, from what I've seen, probably not. So in addition to being evacuated today because of an act of fire, it looks like it may be a total loss. A couple of other points I want to point out. First of all, this is an apartment building. These are all renters. What types of renters? Apparently all types. I spoke to a man earlier who's talked to 2 teachers who live here together, a husband and wife. We understand there are a lot of students here as well, foreign students as well. And there are elderly and handicapped people. So as you can imagine, it was most difficult for them. As a matter of fact, we talked to a woman just a little earlier who was very worried about her pets, but we also specifically asked about the work the firefighters did. Here's what she had to say.
I was just so worried. My kitty, she's in there by herself on the bottom floor.
How hard was it to get out of the building with the smoke and everything?
The firemen they were fabulous. They got us right out. My mom's all right.
They were fabulous. How about that? And we are hearing that, as you heard Ross mention earlier, 70-some firefighters fighting this blaze, very active. They say they're going to be here for a while. I'll leave you on this one last point. Not to stack more sadness onto the story, but I mentioned the gentleman I talked to earlier who were talking to some residents right after. Keep in mind, this happened just after 8 o'clock this morning. He was here talking to residents as they were running out, being evacuated out, and he said part of the tragedy for them is many of them did not have renter's insurance. So it's not just the loss of home, Erica. A lot of these people facing a loss of everything in this tragic hour here in Squirrel Hill. Live in Squirrel Hill, Barry Pintar. Erica, back to you.
Really just devastating to hear that and to see that, Barry. Thanks. We'll check in again soon. Well, people from miles away are reporting seeing this smoke from this fire. And whether you're close or far, this is having an impact on traffic, John, especially around that immediate portion of Squirrel Hill.
Yeah, without a doubt, Erica. And Barry kind of set the scene. Let me do the same, except a little more specifically. As you're looking at, this is the Parkway East. That is the mouth of the Squirrel Hill Tunnel right there. And this is Forward Avenue. So if you came off the Parkway, you'd come down, turn left, and then you come up Forward Avenue into the heart of Squirrel Hill. The building is the second building on the right after you go underneath the Parkway. And just beyond that, we're talking about the intersection with Murray Avenue, where the Get-Go is, where the Starbucks is, and then the main business district of Murray Avenue above that. Now, as a result, they've had to close down the entrance ramp to the inbound Parkway East right now, because this is where all the fire apparatus are currently in the area, and Forward Avenue is closed. Now, also, if you're coming out and you want to go to Squirrel Hill, you can do that. You can get off onto Beechwood Boulevard. But to get into Squirrel Hill, you're going to have to come up Beechwood, turn onto Monitor Street, come up to Monitor, back to Beechwood, and Beechwood will bring you into the other side of Squirrel Hill. You could do that. If you're in the Squirrel Hill area and you want to get on the Parkway this afternoon, your best bet is to avoid the area of the fire altogether, and your best alternative to that is to go up to Forbes Avenue. Just go to Forbes, whatever way you want to get to Forbes, and if you want to go eastbound on the Parkway, turn right on Forbes and head out to Braddock Avenue and down through Regent Square. If you want to go west on the Parkway, turn left onto Forbes Avenue, go through Oakland, get onto Fifth Avenue, and go down to the entrance ramps in that area. Now, I want to take you to the PennDOT camera that shows you where we're talking about. This is the Squirrel Hill camera from PennDOT. Now, here's what I want you to see. See the Squirrel Hill traffic coming out, the inbound traffic, and by the way, the traffic is flowing just fine at this point. That traffic is coming out of the tunnel. But you also see to the left the smoke. In fact, in that area right now, the proximity is so close that the tunnel crews are monitoring the air in the tunnel very closely because the air intake for the tunnel is right there in that building on Forward Avenue. If we go to our drone camera, this really shows it. You see the right-hand side, that's the entrance to the Squirrel Hill Tunnel. You see the fire to the left, and the intake for air for the tunnel is on the backside of that Squirrel Hill Tunnel building. So you see the proximity. For most of the morning, the smoke has been going away from the tunnel building, but there are times it has headed towards that tunnel building. So the crews are monitoring the air in the tunnel and the air intake minute by minute. If it does shift and they get smoke coming into those air intakes, they may have to shut those off, and potentially they could have to close the Parkway East in that area. But so far, so good. The smoke has stayed away from that tunnel building for the most part, but they're going to keep watching that as long as there's smoke coming out of there, Erica.